DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com, balloverseas.com, Overseas Basketball Blueprint. The topic I'm addressing here is, can you play professional basketball overseas if you are under 6 feet tall? Answer to the question, the short answer to the question is yes. Of course you can play professional basketball if you're under 6 feet tall, but I'm going to add in that it will be a challenge. It will be difficult for you to play professional basketball if you're under 6 feet tall, simply because basketball is a game of, or we know where the goal is, right? It's literally called the goal, or the hoop, or the basket is 10 feet high. So the taller you are, the better your chances of getting a look or an opportunity, or just for the most part, we look around, a lot of the best basketball players, or the players that we know of, they're all pretty damn tall. Most of them are pretty damn tall. Very few of them are closer to the average height. And the few who are, we can name them. We can count them on our hands. Why? Because there are so few of them. So that's just the facts. A 7-foot basketball player is always going to get attention and always get an opportunity because they're 7 feet tall. They're only 3 feet away from the goal. Literally, it's called the goal. The tallest, look at the players who are the all-stars. James Harden, 6'5", LeBron, 6'8" or 6'9", Kobe, 6'6", 6'7", Michael Jordan, same type of height, Scottie Pippen, 6'8", Tracy McGrady, 6'9". These great players are really tall. Now again, are there some players who are shorter, on the shorter side, who are great? Allen Iverson was, as they say, probably not even 6 feet. Isaiah Thomas, both Isaiah Thomases, the old retired Isaiah and the current Isaiah Thomas, Muggsy Bogues, Spud Webb, Nate Robinson, and again, we can name these guys. The point that I'm making, I'm not saying it's impossible, because obviously there are examples, but we can name the guys who are really short, or short compared to the average basketball player, pro basketball player, who actually made it, quote unquote. So here's the thing you need to understand, that being under 6 feet is the same thing that I would tell a player who is playing high school or trying to play college basketball. If they're undersized, we'll just use the phrase undersized, whatever you think that means, okay? If you want to play pro, here are the things that you need to understand. First of all, unless you're Allen Iverson, and I've been alive I'm 38 years old as of this recording, I've only seen one Allen Iverson ever. I've never seen a second Allen Iverson. So I'm going to venture to guess, please don't be offended, I'm going to venture to guess that you, 5'10" guy or 6 foot guy or 5'7" player, you ain't Allen Iverson, okay? Don't be offended by that, by me telling you you're not Allen Iverson. You are fill in the blank with your name, okay? That being said, since you're not Allen Iverson, you must be able to play the point guard position, or overseas a lot of times they'll call it the playmaker position. You must be able to play that position, meaning handling the ball, getting the team into its offense, and distributing the ball. Not just scoring all the points, but distributing the ball, okay? You're probably not gonna, if you're playing overseas, you probably won't be out there looking like Russell Westbrook, or who's another scoring guard, a point guard who just scores all the points, Derrick Rose. You're probably not gonna play like that overseas, probably not. You're gonna need to distribute, pass the ball. Doesn't mean you got to get a ton of assists, but you got to be able to get the team into the offense, get the team running their plays, get the ball where it needs to go. I heard Kenny Smith say this. Kenny Smith, who works on TNT now, but y'all didn't know he played in the NBA, won a couple of championships. He said the job of a point guard, and Kenny's a New York City guy. So, and New York is where they played a lot of street ball on the blacktop. I know a lot of y'all players don't even play street ball anymore. Y'all play in the gym. But Kenny talked about that he was taught that a point guard's job is to be able to get the ball from point A to point B with a live dribble without turning it over. That's the job of a point guard. And in the overseas game, generally speaking, there's a lot of other things that may be asked of you based on who your coach is, the team, the situation, type of player you are. You got to be able to do that. Get the ball from one spot on the floor to another spot on the floor with a live dribble, without giving up your dribble, without turning the ball over, and without having to take too much of the clock, because even though there's a shot clock every possession. That is your job. Get the team into their offense, get the ball where the ball needs to be. Wherever the coach says get the ball there, get it there. Even though the other team knows you're trying to get it there, even though they scouted out all your plays, that's your job as an undersized player. They're going to put you at the, if you end up getting a look overseas, you're going to be in the playmaker / point guard position. You got to be able to do that. You must be able to knock down an open outside shot. And again, you ain't got to be Allen Iverson shaking everybody. You ain't got to be Steph Curry, shake somebody off with a 10 dribble combination, hit a 3 fading away. But you got to be able to knock down an open shot to keep the defense honest. You must be a sure ball handler, as I've already explained. Do not turn the ball over off the dribble. You got to be able to knock down your free throws. And you're going to be expected to be a leader. As a person at the playmaker / point guard position, you're going to be expected to be a leader on the team. You're going to have the ball in your hand all the time. You're going to be getting the team into their offense. Your job is to slow down the guy on the other team who's trying to get his team or her team into their offense. So you're going to be looked at as a person in a leadership position, especially if you are an import player. Meaning if you're playing in a country that you don't have a passport from, and you're looked at as that technically makes you an import into that country, even though you're not a material good, you're a person. They call it an import. You're going to be expected to be that person. Usually you're going to be making more money maybe than the local players on that team because you're an import. The team has more money invested in you because it costs them more money just to bring you on a roster. Money that you don't see, but money that they have to spend. So you're a bigger investment just because you're not from that country. These are all things that would be expected of an undersized professional basketball player, especially those of you who are imports. So if you are an undersized player, those are the things you need to be working on. Your ball handling must be A+, solid, like no flaws. Flawless ball handler. So I'm talking, and I'm not talking, when I say flawless ball handler, I'm not talking about Kyrie Irving. All right, you're not going to be out there doing what Kyrie Irving does. Kyrie will call a clear out and go one-on-one off the bounce and get the oohs and ahs. All right, you can't play like that overseas. I already talked about that. All right, I'm talking more Chris Paul, John Stockton, players who get their teams into their offense and they just run their offense and it's solid. Their passes are precise. The passes are always on point. The ball is exactly where it's supposed to be every time. I'll tell you this time, I think I talked about this in video. I might have only written about it, but I spent about a week once. It was when the NBA had the lockout, like almost 10 years ago. I spent the week playing pickup with a bunch of NBA players, and there was 2 NBA point guards, guys who were in the league at the time. I was on their team one of these days, all the days we played pickup. One day, the guy who was running put me on the team. He basically put me as like a third guard, but I didn't even do that much dribbling that day because these dudes was doing all the ball handling. I was just playing off the ball. And let me tell you something. Every single time I was open, every time I cut to the basket, every time I was ahead on the break, every time I got just a little step on my man, that pass was there and it was perfect and it was right in the perfect spot and it always led me to an easy shot or easy layup. That was probably my easiest day on the court that week, simply because all I had to do was just get open, and every single time I was open, that ball was there, like guaranteed. And any of you who's ever played basketball with a guy who plays point guard in the NBA, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe even guys who play overseas. But the guys that I play with who play in the league, man, those passes was perfect. And the guards, I know people are gonna ask me who were the guards I was playing with. I was playing the 2 guards on my team that day. It was a bunch of guards there, but it was Gennaro Pargo and Jarrett Jack. Now, mind you, this was 10 years ago. Neither one of them play anymore. Not Jeremy Pargo, Gennaro Pargo and Jarrett Jack. And those dudes' passes, I mean, perfect. And every time either one of them was open for a jump shot, guaranteed going in. Guaranteed. I don't remember seeing either one of them miss a jump shot that was open, and they never missed a teammate that was open. So that's a good one to put right there. Every time something's open, you better make it. If a teammate's open, that ball better be there. And if you got an open shot, you better make it. That's what is expected of a point guard at the professional level, especially if you're an undersized player, because you can't make up for it with anything else. So, for example, if you're 6'6", and your ball handling is not that great, but you're an amazing athlete, you could jump out the gym, you could block shots, you could lock up on D on anybody, you grab all the rebounds, you can finish above the rim, you can draw fouls, and you can do all these other things, then the fact that you're not a great ball handler, we can overlook that. If you're 6'10" and you can't shoot for anything, but you dominate the paint, you can score on everybody all day. They got to foul you because they can't stop you from getting layups. You're blocking shots. You're intimidating people from coming to the basket. You're grabbing 10 rebounds. You're just a presence in the paint that deters the other team from doing anything in the paint offensively. Then we can overlook the fact that you're a terrible shooter because you dominate the paint. But if you're 6 feet tall and you can't shoot, then why are we even going to have you on the court? Because you're shrinking the floor for our offense, because the other team's going to stop playing you as closely because they know you can't knock down a shot. You might not even want to shoot it. They're not going to play you. Now it's harder for everybody else to do their thing. That's basically, they may end up taking you off the court because you can't knock down that shot. Or if you can't handle the ball and you're an undersized player, then where are we going to put you on the court? We're not going to have you dribbling the ball because you're not a good ball handler. And where else are we going to use you? We may have somebody else who could do multiple things, including handling the ball, who's bigger than you. Therefore, they can guard more positions. They have more potential to make things happen on the court because of their size defensively and offensively. Why do we even need you on the court? So these are the things this is the way that a team will be looking at you as an undersized player. You must be able to knock down shots. You got to be able to make those passes. You got to be a solid ball handler. So if you don't have those skills as an undersized player, or maybe you're young and you think you're still growing, but you think you may project to be an undersized player, maybe you think you won't grow any taller add these skills to your skill set ASAP. And for any player, really, if you can develop these skills of ball handling and shooting, I don't see any place or anywhere in the world where that would be a detriment. You ever seen a basketball player who were like, man, we liked you better before you could shoot. We liked you better before you could handle the ball. No. If you can develop those skills, those will help you in basketball. They will help you get more opportunities, help you get seen by more people, and only expand the possibilities of the way that you can contribute to a team. And what y'all need to remember about basketball, I'm not even going to say understand because you probably already noticed, but I'm going to remind you, and I will remind you again of this, that the more skills that you have, the more things that you are capable of doing in a competent way, the more opportunity you'll give yourself to get on the court. Now, get a job and to get on the court. Because if you're a player who can only dribble, but there's somebody else on the team who's a better ball handler than you, then you may not get on the court. If you can only shoot, but there's somebody who's they're just as good a shooter, but they can also play D better than you, then they're going to play over you because they can do more things than you can do. You can only shoot, but you can't play defense. They can play defense and they can shoot. So why we put you on the court when we can have them on the court and they can do more things? So you want to be expanding your skill set, but find complementary skills. One skill that complements the other skills that you already have. So figure out what the basis of your game is going to be, and then add complementary skills that work with it. These days in basketball, you can watch the game and see what type of complementary skills do players have. If you're a good outside shooter, being able to handle the ball a little bit will help because now you can help the team with the ball handling and you can shoot, and maybe you can shoot off the dribble a little bit. If you're a good shooter, you can add being a great defender. 3-and-D guy. That's the main thing that a lot of people are talking about, at least these days, but that's going to change in the future. If you're a big guy, if you can knock down the 3-point shot, you don't have to be a ball handler, but if you can knock down the 3 and you're a good rebounder, all right, now we can use this guy down in the paint area, or you can score with your back to the basket. We can use this guy in the paint. We can use him to stretch the floor, and hopefully you can play some defense. Those are complementary skills. So figure out what skills complement the skills that you already have that will help you out for any player. But for you undersized players, I'll say it one more time, and I'm going to keep saying it. Anything that's open, a teammate's open or a shot is open, you better be knocking it down. And you better be a leader and sharpen up your ball handling. Your ball handling can never be too good. Think about, again, people whose ball handling you may be considered to be quote-unquote basic, but they're always on the court and the team uses them. Not the one-on-one isolation crossovers, but they're able to get that ball anywhere at any time at all times. John Stockton, Chris Paul, whoever else you want to think of. I can't even think of anybody else right now because we ain't seen NBA in a while. But this is what you need to do as an undersized basketball player. Any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. If you have not yet gotten this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, 237 pages tell you everything you need to know and do about playing professional basketball overseas. I've already paid for the book. All you do to get this book is take care of the shipping and tell me where to send it. balloverseas.com. If you also haven't gotten the free download, 46 things to know that you must know about playing professional basketball overseas, it's at balloverseas.com/46. Make sure you get this book before we take down that free offer. Work on your game. Dre all day.